So 2010 continues, ladies and gentlemen. Cover Killer here, of course, or Cover Killer Nation. I'm just so used to calling myself Cover Killer. Let's face it, that's just who I am. How about some green tea, guys? All you people that don't like me smoking, is green tea a nice alternative? I hope so. 2010 is going to continue once again in this particular video because there's another album that's coming out from a artist that I think some people know and some people really love. Other people may not love them so much or just may not know about them, period. This is a band that their new album's actually kind of been leaked for a little while. It's been something that a lot of people have known about. A lot of people may have gotten a chance to sample or listen to. However, it's something that definitely needs to be covered right around the time of the release date. The release is coming this particular week, and that particular band is Angra, and the album that's coming out is Aqua, which is water in, well, just about every language you can possibly imagine. Okay, or just English. But at any rate, Angra is kind of a very strange mixed bag. They were, and still are, considered to be a power metal band. They do add some progressive effects into their music, and there's a little bit of riffing in there that some people may try to lace into a little bit of speed metal or something like that. I really just consider these guys to be a fantastic power metal band that have hints of progression in them, that are infused and influenced by the classics. And that's something that makes for a very, very good act. Now, Angra is a band that I honestly will admit I was not I did not always know about them. I was kind of avoiding power metal for a stretch there because it all kind of sounded the same to me a little bit. It was kind of cheesy, like once you've listened to one Gamma Ray and Man of War disc, you kind of heard them all. But Angra kind of struck me as something a little different. Whenever their last album came out, I was very interested in it just to kind of sample it out and didn't really expect anything much of it. I expected it to maybe be a solid 7 out of 10 and not really blow me away. But surprisingly enough, it did, and it actually ended up on my top 20 list of that particular year. So whenever I found out that Aqua was to be coming out here in 2010, I of course had to jump on and check to see if they could follow it up. Well, there's one thing that I noticed between these two particular albums, and that's definitely a little bit more of a return to their power metal roots from back in their earlier work. Now, of course, I said that I really didn't know much about them. However, whenever I found out about them, I immediately wanted to know more. So hence, I did more exploring. I listened to albums like Temple of Shadows and the like. However, with Aqua, it reminds me a lot more of that than the previous release that they had. This being the follow-up to it. And yes, I do know the title. It's just I am not really going to. I'm not going to slave myself to thousands and thousands of comments of people saying, you can't say that right, blah, 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 blah. Hey, if you really don't know what I'm talking about, Google it. Simple as that. However, like I said, this is really a little bit more of a return to their popular power metal roots from the earlier stage of their career, and it's definitely a real flashback for me. It's really cool. I really like it. There's, of course, a couple tracks that will remind you a little bit more of the newer work, such as Lease of Life reminds me a lot of a song that was off of the previous release. I cannot remember if it's Save My Life. Man, Losing All. There we go. And you just take a look at the titles. Awake from Darkness, The Rage in the Water, Spirit of the Air, Hollow, A Monster in Her Eyes. There's just a lot of really good, strong material on this particular record. It really strikes you in that power metal sense. And, Angra is a band that I think is really underappreciated. This is an album that definitely demands your attention. This is one that I think could easily creep into the top 20 list once again because of it's got a power to it, where with some and most power metal albums, for me, myself personally, I find it very difficult to make it through from start to finish. Now, if it's a Blind Guardian record, for example, if it's, if it's No World Order by Gamma Ray, I can listen to it all the way through. There are certain choice cuts that I'm able to definitely do so, and do so willingly. This is an album, Aqua, where I'm able to listen to all 53 minutes and 9 seconds of it with little to no desire to change it. In fact, I just wanted to hear more. I wanted to know more. I wanted to experience more of this particular record. I was excited whenever I heard that this record was coming out. I was excited whenever it was made available to me, and I was excited whenever I was able to listen to it for the first time, the second time, third time, and yeah, I've listened to it a good bit. I like this release. This is definitely a positive step. It shows that while Angra was able to experiment with their sound with the last record and really made a fan out of me, it also shows that they are able to return to their roots, which has got a little bit more of a power metal backing to it, which is a little bit less of the progression and a little bit less of the the amazing quality that you heard from the last record. And you can still keep me into it. You can still keep me listening, and still keep me wanting to tap my feet to some of the songs, doing the whole, like, I'm the drummer thing, or doing the whole I'm the virtuoso guitar thing, This is one of those bands that just really appeals to me a lot, and this is an album that definitely helps to do that. If there's one thing that I would tell to fans that maybe are not too keen on power metal, is that it's definitely something that takes a little getting used to. If you're typically into mathcore, deathcore, hardcore, first off, you probably hate me already. So, hi. I'm your worst enemy. Come find me. We'll have ourselves a little hardcore mosh pit war. But like most power metal, Angra is definitely an acquired taste. It's something that really blends a lot of classic metal, a lot of the stuff that you heard from the 1980s. I mean, some names that come to mind are Iron Maiden, Burning Star, Judas Priest, of course. You have to think about bands like that and Running Wild. And this is something that's just been taken, even further by bands such as Halloween and Blind Guardian. Gamma Ray, of course, comes along. They release albums such as Power Plant. A lot of people says that there's cheesy aspects to it, and that's true with bands such as Man of War or Hammerfall. And even some Rhapsody even can be considered to be cheesy by some people's regards. And let me tell you one thing, and this is to you fans who think that you know everything, but you don't. Dragon Force is not power metal. Dragon Force is metal for people that can do stuff in the studio but can't do it live. Period. Amen. Respect their abilities. Don't respect the fact that they can't replicate it. If you want something that is really going to blow you away and be a nice, pleasant surprise for you this year, Aqua is definitely your particular album. I love the track Lease on Life, A Rising Thunder, The Rage of the Waters, Hollow. There's just a lot of really cool things on here. In fact, there's even a remix of Lease of Life as track number 11 that I originally thought was an accidental duplicate. However, they did remix it. They made it sound pretty cool. I love what they did with this particular record. I was not expecting them to follow up their last record with one that was a little bit more traditional power metal. I kind of thought that maybe they would continue in that other direction, and I'm pleasantly surprised. And that's something that's very, very cool and very rare to say. Whenever you're pleasantly surprised that they didn't take it in the direction that you were hoping they would, that is the sign of a good release. So definitely, whenever this release becomes available to you in your hometown, in your area, definitely check out Angra's Aqua, a 2010 release. They just might be on the top 20 list whenever I do that at the end of the year, but you'll have to stay tuned to find out.